Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. If you have a gardening question you'd like our host Fred Howard to answer, send him an email. The email address is fred@planttalkradio.com. Now for today's question. Back to the program now with Fred Howard, the Ohio nurseryman, and of course our special guest today, Chris Ahlum from Ahlum and Arbor Tree Preservation. Chris, I think all of us are always fascinated by the name of your company, Tree Preservation. Talk about preserving trees and what folks, this time of year, everyone's excited about getting out in the lawn. It's finally spring. What should people be looking at and thinking about with their trees?
Definitely. Well, tree preservation, my father 40 years ago said, we're in it for the trees and, we want to do more than just cut trees down. And, so our goal is to diagnose and to help trees grow. And, this is the time of the year that everybody does get outside and starts to look around, and it's gorgeous out there. And we do look up, and we should look up and enjoy the trees and take a look at the branches and see what has leaves and what doesn't have leaves. Don't be super alarmed right now. There's some trees, like ash trees. I get a lot of phone calls this time of the year. Half my ash tree isn't leafed out yet. Sometimes they're just funny, and it takes them a week or two to really leaf out. So give them some time. Be aware, but they should all be leafed out here. Some trees like an ash may not be leafed out till mid-May. So where your maples are almost leafed out now.
And well, I've been watching that very same thing, Chris. Ash being one thing, the Sweet Bay Magnolia just popped in the last couple of days. In the meantime, you'd have thought they were dead as a doornail because, they're just sitting there. The pawpaw, the flower has developed, but there's not a bud open for leaves yet in terms of pawpaw trees. The ash, some trees, I look at this as it's a mechanical thing that has favored their growth. The later they leaf out, the less apt they are to be frozen in the spring and have a major setback in health because they have to start all over again the same year. I don't know whether that's true or not, but our oak, ash, beech, and hickory forest that was once Ohio, those trees are not the first ones to leaf out. They're going to be a little slower later, and I look at it as self-protection. Now, trees can't think. We have researched far enough that I'm sure they don't have a brain, but they are so responsible to minute little chemistries, temperatures, day lengths, and so on. We're still, I think, quite ignorant about how a plant, being a tree in our case, actually functions, and it's a learning experience just to tune in and enjoy them for their beauty and their fall color and all. But think about wind speed on the earth. Think about anchorage of the soil. Think about water runoff. All of the things. My oak tree out front is now shading the house from noon on in the afternoon. I don't know that I can compare the bills, but I'm quite comfortable that tree in shading my house all afternoon has cut down on the cost of air conditioning the house. I don't think there's any question about it.
Oh, definitely. I think, trees, I've been to some clients' properties where they don't have air conditioning because they have such just a perfect, the tree in the right place. And sometimes it's only one tree.
Yeah.
But it's that right tree in the right spot.
And when it's only one, Chris, you want to take really good care of it. And then I think it's only righteous that we would mention, as you were saying, Chris, looking up and seeing what is foliated and what's not. If said tree doesn't have any leaves at a given point or on various branches, think arborist. Nobody beyond the age of 20 without proper background should be attempting to go up in a tree and live through it unscathed. But a branch 3 inches in diameter and 8 feet long that has broken off over the wintertime, that comes down and hits you on the gourd while you're mowing. That's going to be some disaster.
Doesn't take a big branch to hurt you.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, thanks again for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our other podcasts as well, the Plant of the Week podcast and the Plant Talk Radio podcast, all on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. If you'd like to sponsor a daily podcast, contact us at fred@planttalkradio.com. To find out more about Fred Howard and Plant Talk Radio, visit our website, planttalkradio.com.
Circle270media.com.